awakening and acceptance. I don't know if you're noticing this while you're going through an awakening process, but I'm noticing that, when you're going through awakening, there's this whole new acceptance of things that in your life were never were a struggle. Things that you may have battled with your entire life, and they were a struggle, and they were things that just kind of always ate away at you, or just were one of those things that made you feel either not good enough or were a challenge for you your entire life. And now suddenly you're finding that those things that you feel like you've been kind of battling with your whole life, you're now in this acceptance stage of it, where you're like, while it may have been like this thing that you didn't accept about yourself, now suddenly you're like owning it, and you're realizing that the beauty of it, or the things that were amazing about the things that you have, or the things that, again, you struggled with. So I'll just kind of start with a story that I'm noticing this with, that became very real for me yesterday. And it was like, oh. So since I was a young teenager, I remember having body image issues. And at that time, supermodels were like a thing. And, everybody was kind of supposed to live up to this image of being super tall and slender and, drop dead gorgeous, that kind of thing. And for me, I actually was tall, but, and I actually remember going to a modeling agency, modeling school type thing. And I remember them telling me that I was very curvy. And so while I was super skinny at the time, I mean, we all look back and think, wow, if I would have just appreciated how I was at that time, I wasn't acceptable at where my body was at because I was super curvy. And nowadays that's more kind of being like thick is the thing, or that's, curvy is really popular. But at the time it wasn't. And so ever since then, I always aspired to be, thinner or, skinny. But as you all know, and I think men and women both go through this, our bodies change over time. When we're younger, we have a certain body, we have more energy, we have different metabolism, we have different things that go on. Women's bodies change a lot, especially, menstrual cycles, or, having babies changes your body tremendously. And so I've had a lot of ups and downs with weight over the years, and just a lot of things that my body has changed through. I've had times where I was super thin and slender, and also times where I was heavier. And, things didn't fit the same way they did when I was super slender. And I remember even keeping clothes when I was heavier and thinking, oh, I'll get into them someday, and aspiring to be in those clothes. And even more recently, I've done that. Now, last year, or the last few years, I've had a lot of loss and just a lot of changes in my life. And because of that, I started emotionally eating. I was pretty slender, and then I just was emotionally eating and started gaining weight. And that was just what I was going through at the time. I even remember doing a certain diet, and I did lose weight for my wedding. But then I kind of slowly but surely started getting back into those patterns of emotionally eating, and just not eating that was good for me, not eating good for my body. But it was something that the things that I was going through, that was what I needed at the time. I'm not excusing anything. I'm not, and please don't, if this is my story and my experience, okay? This is not a judgment on anybody, what they do with their bodies or with their, eating habits or anything like that. That is not what this is about. This is more my story of how I experienced, body image for me. So yesterday, I decided to just get out because I've had a lot of stress. And I just decided to go out on my own and go to the mall and just kind of look around. And I thought, you know what? I'm like literally down to like a couple pair of pants now that I can wear somewhat comfortably because I have put on weight. And I refuse to buy different clothes because it's kind of like me not accepting, but just, what's the word? When you're just kind of, okay, fine, I'll just do it already, So buying bigger clothes or whatever, for me was always kind of like you're no longer resisting where you're at. So that's what I was doing. And I decided let's look at a pair of pants. Well, I was looking in a pair of pants that was in a shop that was more for, the shop was actually for heavier set type people. I was shopping in a heavier set type department, let's say. And so for me, again, this is not a judgment on anybody that's heavier set, but for me, I've always been a certain size, let's put it that way. So I was looking at pants that were really cute, and I decided to get my normal size that I normally fit into and a bigger size just to compare. So I was trying them on, and the normal size did fit fine, but then I tried the bigger size and it fit better. It was more comfortable. It was, it just felt better. And so I decided to buy the pair of pants, and it was interesting because I was like, these look great on me, and as I was leaving the shop, I was like completely in this, you know what? I'm just gonna own this, own where my body's at, own where maybe I am voluptuous and this is, where I'm at now. And it was the first time I had this complete acceptance of where my body's at. It's like I've been shaming myself since I was a teenager for so long. And it was like this massive release, this realization of, wow, if I would have just felt like this about my body all the time, I would be so different and I would feel so much more free. And I felt so great about it. It was like this massive acceptance of where I'm at in this moment right now. And that is just one thing. And again, that's one of the things I've been battling my whole life, one of the bigger things. So I guess, for me, that's a big realization of that I'm going through this awakening process, because that's something that I've been battling with my whole life. So when you're in this place where you're finally in acceptance of where you're at and okay with where you're at and owning it and believing in yourself and thinking, wow, and appreciating, having this gratitude for where you are at, your body's at, what your body does for you and what you can do with it. It's so freeing. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. I'm curious if anybody else is experiencing, while you're going through this awakening process, if you're finding acceptance in things that you've been kind of battling with your whole life. And that could be so many different things for everybody. But I'm curious if anybody else is noticing this, and please share, please comment, let me know. Love to hear your story. And for me, I don't know, I just feel like it was like a huge awareness around awakening when you're in an acceptance place of a thing that you've been battling with your entire life. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you. So just wanted to remind you, you matter. You are just an amazing person. And when you start finding yourself in acceptance of things that you used to like struggle with your entire life, you're awakening. This is an amazing place to be. Just own it, be in it, be who you are and love who you are. Love you, love where you're at in your life. That's an amazing, freeing place to be. So anyway, wishing you an amazing day. Thanks for watching.